The other thing that I'm keeping an eye on here, and a very close eye on, is Greece. Greece has, I believe tomorrow is the day that they have to pay $1.9 billion to the EU or to the IMF or whatever it is. And they also, today was the day that they would qualify for a $7 billion loan so that they could use it to pay off their debt. And then to pay off the loan, they'd have to privatize more of Greece and give it more of it to the billionaires and the big corporations. This is the logical end point of Reaganism. What we're seeing is this philosophy of austerity, this sick and twisted philosophy of austerity, spreading all across Europe. It's been in the United States has been in the grips of it since 1980, the UK since 1978. This idea that Warren Harding campaigned on in 1920. Less business, more business in government, less government in business. In other words, deregulate and privatize. And this is killing the developed countries of the world. It truly is. And I don't understand how the Europeans, particularly the Germans, keep looking at Greece and saying, with a 50% unemployment rate among young people, with a 30% unemployment rate across the board. I mean, it's worse than it was during the Great Depression in Greece right now. And after a year, you lose your national health insurance after a year of unemployment. New York Times led a story with a woman who came into a doctor finally because something was breaking through her breast. It was breast cancer that had burst through the skin. He said, I haven't seen anything like this since I worked in the third world. Well, welcome to the third world. These are really serious problems. And we've got to figure out a way to, unless the entire system collapses in and on itself, I don't see where these guys are going to change their policies, because there actually are winners and losers in neoliberalism, in austerity politics, in sequester politics. The winners are always the billionaires. The losers are always the working people. The billionaires and the banksters. I mean, the banksters drove Greece, created Greece's problems, and now the banksters are saying, we want our pound of flesh. And the people are saying, we gave you our left leg, then we gave you our right leg, then we gave you our left arm, you want our right leg? It's like, really? So Tsipras, the prime minister of Greece, instead of saying yes to the EU over the weekend, as he was supposed to do, or last Friday, I guess it was, he said, we'll hold a referendum. We'll leave it up to the people. And if I were Greek, I would be voting to withdraw from the European Union, or at least the EU monetary system, from the euro, and go back to the drachma. I think that a country that doesn't control its own currency is a country that has no control over its own fate and future. Greece never should have joined the EU in the first place. They had to have Goldman Sachs, as I recall, come up with a phony baloney scheme where they took some of the Greek debt and made it look like it wasn't Greek debt so that they qualified for membership in the EU. And then the EU figured this out and started saying, pay back the debt, and thus began this whole mess. Well, that plus the recession of 2007, 2008, the Bush recession going worldwide, the consequence of that, of course, was decreased economic activity in Greece, too. But, what's coming next? How is this going to come next to the United States? Well, the Republicans just passed austerity budget. Cut Medicare, cut Social Security, cut Medicaid, cut money to education, cut welfare programs, cut food stamps. I mean, the Republicans' budget that passed the House, and I think passed the Senate, certainly passed the House, the Paul Ryan budget, is worse. I mean, it's the same thing, essentially, as what Greece is going through right now. This is what Republicans want to do to us. It's like it's the end game move by billionaire Republicans against working people in the United States. When are we going to wake up?